Welcome back to the
Oh,
Community Collective podcast. I am Johnny B. Good, joined by my man.
Travis Howell.
Man, we've got a special guest today.
I'm really excited about this.
So I have seen Mr. Nick Starr across all of my Instagram reels and my TikTok stuff and Facebook, and we got him in studio today.
We did, and we started really interacting with him more last year for Festival of Flags with one of the bands that we'll probably talk about a little bit about. But I think that's the exciting part is it's a whole new industry. I mean, you and I listen to music. We have different types we
I
like.
listen to podcasts. That's all I do. I'm just a huge podcast.
But getting someone I think that has a passion for it and has a background that is something completely different, but it has a huge the business he's with has a huge following.
Right.
And
well,
everybody's been something like that. So
why don't we hit the pause button?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Nick Starr, welcome to the podcast, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me today, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and when Travis told me that he was going to bring you on, I'm like, oh my.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got some, now we've got some pull. Now instead of talking to a random, lemonade shop owner on the corner of the street, we're talking to real life celebrities here.
Oh yeah. And for those that are wondering, you can always tell like by looking at Nick's hat, he's with the Machine Shop.
Yep.
So, I mean, I've never been to a concert there, but I've enjoyed
You haven't?
Well,
I have not.
You need to get out to one, and we always say we have something for everybody, whether you like rock or heavy metal or country, and all those genres have their own umbrella, but a lot of different things within said genre, whether it's more modern radio country or more old school traditional outlaw country. Same with rock, whether it's more the radio stuff. Same with metal, where it's maybe more radio type metal versus heavy death metal. We have something for everybody, and really want to make it an enjoyable experience for everyone that comes through the door.
And you guys had Tom Green.
Yes, we've been doing some comedy over the last few years too, which is a different change of pace. But Tom Green's been there, various other stand-ups, Bobcat Goldthwait, Pete Davidson was there. So we've been doing that a bit as well too. So it's really something for everybody, really.
For everybody. Well, my sons play basketball sometimes down at Bendel.
Oh yeah.
Depending on the schedule and whatnot. So we'll sometimes shoot down Dort, and I always point out the Machine Shop. And you guys get a little bit older, we'll get you some earmuffs to go in there. We're going to take you to a metal show.
Yep. As soon as they turn 18, they are
welcome
good to
go.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, in the so I know Chris from the Dapper, with everything else, and we'll talk about him here in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But Brandon from Vicarian. So he worked for me when I owned my bar and grill down in Grand Blanc.
Okay.
And so I've been following his new YouTube channels blowing up. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff as well. I've seen a few of his shows there. So I love the Machine Shop, man. What you guys and Kevin and everybody's doing over there is phenomenal.
Well, we just try and make it enjoyable for everybody that comes. So.
And it is legitimately world famous.
I mean, it is crazy how worldwide, like especially like the merchandise you'll see all over, and we'll get reports back like, I was in Heathrow Airport in London and I saw a Machine Shop shirt or whatever.
That's amazing.
The specific examples, but it is really worldwide, and we'll talk about it with the bands and their road crews every day, where especially if it's like a young up and coming band or a new road crew member and they've never been there before, they always make it a point to get their own Machine Shop gear so they can wear it on tour, because it is really like, almost like a badge of honor or whatever. Like I've been to the Machine Shop, same thing with bands when they get their hallway photo right before they go on stage.
Yep. The Minty Pics.
Jeff Mintline does those pictures. The Machine Shop gear, Johanna designs all the gear, handles everything with the Machine Shop merchandise and all of the social media too. She's incredible with all that. So that really just, I think, adds to the overall, vibe of the place.
100%. And it's so cool because legitimately in our backyard.
It really is.
Right. And I think, I think as a concert fan and a music lover, we are super lucky to have it right in Flint, because all the time bands will say, there's not a machine shop in every city, and I know for a fact that's true, you know?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely it is. All right, well, I'll quit interjecting
Oh,
just
no, you're
randomly
good.
about
We,
different
we
people
just
that
get
we know.
excited about
Yeah,
this. It's
no,
a great topic
it's
today.
a great way to just kind of break that ice. So I'll let you jump into that first question, and then, I'll pop in every
Yeah,
now
some
and
other
again.
ones. Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. So, Nick, can you kind of share the story behind, I mean, the world famous machine shop and what you believe sets it apart from others in the industry? And I
A
mean, and you've traveled around quite a bit.
absolutely,
So,
yes,
yes.
that's exactly how I was gonna start my answer to that question. I Prior to working at the machine shop, and I've been there over 10 years now, I spent several years touring, working on road crews for multiple bands. Some of my main long-term gigs were Taproot,
Okay.
In This Moment, We Came as Romans, and I travel literally all over the world, you know, all over the US so many times back and forth, but internationally as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like that actually gives me a good perspective on the machine shop and what makes it special because I've
Yeah.
been to so many different venues all over the world. I think one of the main things that obviously starts with our owner and founder, Kevin Zink, but it's really the vibe of the place. And I think just the fact that it's everything about it is 100% genuine.
Right.
I think people are smart. They can smell fake. They can smell phony.
Right.
You know, we have a certain aesthetic
Mhm.
at the machine shop, but it's not like a chain restaurant where they're just slapping stuff on the wall. It's specifically curated
Yep.
and it's in a specific manner because it really reflects Kevin as a
Right.
person.
Right.
Because you can say, well, tattoo culture is cooler and hot rods and motorcycles and it's all cool, but if you're being phony about it, people will
Right.
sniff that out 100%. And those are
Yeah.
the things that Kevin loves. That's like him as a person.
Right.
So that is a big part of it.
Well, I think to that point, and you're exactly right, it's the authenticity.
100% authentic there.
It's authenticity, and you guys actually care.
We
Yeah.
care so much, and you can say whatever you want about your place to try and will it into existence, but that's not possible. It's that genuine authenticity and the fact that we care so much and we want to make the day absolutely great for every band that plays there,
Yeah.
every single member of their road crew, and every single customer that comes
Yeah.
through that door. And I feel like to circle back a little bit to my touring days, I have a lot of perspective on it because I've been to so many different venues, and like I had already said, there's not a machine shop in every city, and that is definitely the case. Now you get a lot of independent venues, and there's a lot of great ones throughout the country, but they don't necessarily have the vibe, or some places, unfortunately, they don't care, or they really have people that don't know what they're doing, or
Well, the owner operator
yeah,
aspect of Kevin being quote unquote in the weeds, I think is
100%.
is such a main factor because that it shows that he cares, but he's aware of what's going on.
Absolutely.
He's
And
not just getting emails or a text message or like, "Hey, here's what
right.
happened last night."
He's there all day, every day,
Yep.
and I've been to so many venues all over the country, and I can tell you firsthand knowledge. You don't see the guy that owns the venue pushing in equipment
Right.
every single day with his
Right.
crew, but Kevin does it at the shop with us every single day when we're loading in the gear for the bands.
Mhm.
Um, this isn't the cool or glamorous. It'd probably be cooler to say, "Oh, Kevin's just there and partying with the bands." But the reality is, I haven't seen other venues where the guy that owns the place has his hand
That's right.
in a toilet because it's clogged, but Kevin has done it multiple times, and I
Sure.
know that's not cool, and
No,
it's
but
not
still,
glamorous or fun aspect of it, but it's the truth,
Right.
and
Well,
that speaks
it's the dark side of the
to him
business.
exactly,
You
that
know,
nobody
it
thinks
is.
about. They all think, "Oh, man, you're
right.
on the bus partying," but that's never the case
Right.
in reality, not
Right.
to get,
Well,
pull the
I
curtain
mean, I think
back
it
too
shows
much.
that he's invested in what he's doing, and it's
100%. I mean,
wants his team to see like, hey, I'm out there with you too,
he's
doing this.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's so dedicated, and there is nothing that he would ever ask us to do that he won't do himself
There
or
you go.
hasn't already done himself in the last 23 years.
Yep.
And, like I said, you get a lot of independent venues that, there's some good ones, but they either don't have the vibe or they don't know what they're doing or they don't care. Or there are a lot of great ones too, but there are, it's always going to be a mixture of things. Or there's corporately owned venues
right.
that look good and run well, but
There's
they don't have that.
There's no personality.
They don't have that personality deeply rooted in that particular venue. Oh, and there's other legendary places that have a lot of history, and that's another thing. Like, besides the authenticity, that's something you can't manufacture. That's something you can't buy, but also the history you can't buy. So there are some legendary venues, and just one example I always cite is Whiskey A Go Go on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. I've done multiple shows there. The history is incredible.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a band doing a show there, the parking sucks, the load-in sucks, the stage is not that great. Getting down to the stage from up above and the dress, it's got a lot of negative aspects, and it's really, other than the history aspect, not a good, fun place to actually put on a show. But Machine Shop, it's got 23 years of history now. It's got, people that really, really care that are working. We want to make it great for everybody. And it's also set up in a very functional manner, which bands and crews appreciate. I know that might be an audience thing that they're not even thinking about, but from someone that's toured so much, working with so many different bands and been to so many different venues, that's an aspect. I mean, it's just the overall package.
Well, and
with everything.
And I've seen some big shows there. I remember seeing 3 Days Grace there. I've seen Taproot there. I've seen Mushroom Head. I mean, just so many great bands that, again, I mean, me and my little white polo and, sweater here, you wouldn't think I'd be there, but I mean,
but everyone's welcome at the Machine Shop.
That's what it seems like it is.
I've never felt like all the eyes were on me as I walked in.
And, that's a good thing that you bring that up, because I mean, it's like anything else. I don't think this is exclusive to Machine Shop, but there can be preconceived notions that people have if they haven't been to a place, like, oh, this is, I won't fit in there.
Right.
But everybody's welcome. We embrace everybody at every show, and we love to see that. You know what I mean? We want people there having a good time and enjoying the music that they love, no matter who they are.
Metal fans are some of the most welcoming fans I have ever engaged with.
That's absolutely true.
I've so many, like, metal fans and ravers, bass heads and metal fans. They're just amazing. They're so welcoming into the culture. They're like, oh, you don't know? Well, come on, let's go party. Let's listen to music. Let's push up to the front.
Well, and I feel like when I'm around town and you mention a band or something like that, so I'm like, oh yeah, I saw them at the Machine Shop, or like, you went to Machine Shop, and like, yeah. So it kind of shows you that the wide range of people that find something they're excited about or interested in.
Absolutely.
And it's offered here locally.
Well, and that's a great point too. And another thing that you and Kevin and the team have done over there, it's so welcoming to the local music scene.
Oh yeah. We want to do what we can to foster that as much as humanly
absolutely.
possible.
There's not like a level of exclusivity there. You're going to be willing to bring in whomever. Let's go. Let's have a hell of a show.
Right.
Yeah, and we just always want to put on the best show possible.
Absolutely.
Certainly.
I tell you what, your sound system there is amazing. I go out and I feel like I'm vibrating from the inside when I finish a show out there. It's amazing.
I mean, between the sound that John Tanner runs and the lights that Jimmy Brown, aka Butt Crack, everyone knows him. Butt Crack.
That I do.
Great.
But they are both incredible at their job, but also the amount of lighting equipment and the amount of sound equipment we have packed into a venue our size is wild. It really is like a above and beyond experience to go to a
thank goodness
there.
It's a block building, because I don't know if a standardly framed building could handle that.
Oh my goodness. Right.
Go ahead, Travis.
Well, no, this is great.
Me and Nick are just going to go, and we're just going to go have lunch and just chat for 2 hours about music.
I'm the guy that listens to the music on the radio in my little 4-door car. I'm driving around town. So
nothing wrong with that.
It sounds like I need to go to the Machine Shop.
You absolutely do. We are for everybody.
It's 100%. I'll take it. We're going to change your outfit, but we're definitely going to take that.
I get that. Well, I mean, we're almost going to matching a little bit today.
I mean, I roll everywhere in my flip-flops, so I don't have anything to talk about.
We'll find one to go to.
100%.
You and I like that.
Absolutely.
So, Nick, one of the things that I found fascinating when talking with you is, and I never thought about this, is that you're a part of a team, but you're full time at the machine shop. So, what are some of the challenges you have faced? But what are also some of the rewards that you've enjoyed from being employed there?
Well, I think from a challenge standpoint, it's almost the exact inverse of what I used to do when I worked for bands and traveled all over. I was doing the exact same thing every day, but just in a different city. And being at the machine shop, we have a different show coming in every day. Now, some bands will play 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, but
Mhm.
in by and large, it's a different show every day that we're there. So that's part of the challenge. We have a set routine that we're going to do certain things every day, but it can vary day to day based on what band is there, what their needs are. Do they have a ton of equipment and we have to rearrange the setup of the stage? Do we have to
Mhm.
move our giant drum riser off? That's very rare, but it does happen once in a blue moon. Do we have to move some of the movable lighting that Jimmy would normally use? Things like that is part of the day to day challenge, and then just meeting the needs of each individual band and crew and doing it in a finite amount of time, whether it's however many X number of hours before doors, because, you
You're
know,
you're on the clock.
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Doors typically are going to open at 7, but sometimes 6:30, sometimes 6 o'clock. I've seen it open as early as 5:30. So we are there to get every single thing done that we need to on that daily basis and get it done on time to let that crowd in, because there is always a line at the door waiting to get in right when we open. It's not a matter of, oh, it's a real nice weather, so we'll have people waiting. Nope. It doesn't matter how cold it is.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how much snow or wind. There will be people sitting there, and if it's a really big band for us, like there will be people there. I could get there at 11 a.m., 10 a.m. and see, a couple people there already
Wow.
waiting, and
Yeah.
it's not even opening till 7 o'clock.
Right.
So there's always gonna be that line at the door, and we wanna get those people in
Yeah.
as fast and as efficiently as possible and on time. So that's, part of the day-to-day challenge, is that it's a different set of people coming in every day and setting up for their particular show, whatever
Right.
that requires. So that's where the change is for us on a
Yeah.
daily
All
basis.
right. Okay.
As part of the reward, I mean, I think I've almost kind of covered it. Just to be able to be a part of it is really an honor for me, as someone that has been involved in music all my life, and
Mhm.
you know been involved in different aspects, of the business my entire adult life. Because like you said, it is such a legendary, world famous place. So just to get to be a part of it, and have any kind of hand in it, is really an honor for me personally, and that really is its reward, for me. But also, it's
Yeah.
very rewarding when customers come up to me and say, "Oh man, I see how hard you're working tonight, and I
Yep.
just want to tell you that." And that really makes me feel good and feel appreciated. But also just seeing how much people love coming to the place and seeing a show, and how happy they are to be there. That's a very rewarding thing, that the customers are so happy, but also the bands love it so much and the crews love it so much. That's rewarding for us as well. Just to make people happy on both ends, with the customers and the bands and crews coming through, is a big reward, because like I said, there is not a machine shop in every city, and I'll probably always say that over and over again, but it's really true. And to make it a great day for people
Yep.
is really its own reward. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing is just the fact that I get to be any kind of part of it.
Well,
Right.
I'm sure too you love the music. I
Absolutely.
mean,
And I
not
mean,
only you're
that's
working, but you're getting to listen to some great bands.
right. And that's the thing. For me, I'm a giant music nerd.
Yeah.
I've literally dedicated my life to it. I started playing drums when I was 10 and played in bands, and then, I've worked for bands, I've worked at venues, I've, done all kinds of different jobs, but that to me is a a great aspect for me personally, is just being around music and being involved in it, and that is the ideal scenario for me
Right.
when it comes to work, because it's what I love the most is music. So to be involved in that is, a great thing for me
Well,
personally.
and you're not stuck in the corporate drudgery of having to go to a
Right.
cubicle every day,
Right.
Right.
and everybody's different. When you find something that you truly love, even if it isn't somebody else's cup of tea,
Right.
if you love what you're doing, going to work never feels like work.
Right. That's its own reward. And I mean, we'll put in upwards of, 14 hours,
Sure.
routinely 10, 12, whatever it is on a daily basis, but it never feels like work, like you're saying, because you love it so
You're loving
much
it.
and
Yeah.
it is rewarding and it is
Yeah.
something you're passionate about.
100%. I absolutely love it. All right, so we'll get into Travis is gonna let me ask a few
I'm gonna let John
Okay.
have a few turns here, like you haven't already.
I know.
Right.
You know me. Look at this. Look at this
There's
giant
little
coffee. I
there's
think
little,
this is the second one today.
little Miss Gabby over there
It's
going to
very true.
town. Yeah.
It's
No.
very true. All right. So, let me see. Yes. What is one of the most memorable events that you've been a part of at the machine shop?
This is a tough
I know this is
question
extremely difficult.
just because there's been so many different things, since I've been there the last 10 plus years. This is a really difficult one.
Well, how about this? What's one that really sticks top of mind?
Mhm.
Maybe favorite's a little bit tough because how do you rank
Ooh,
hundreds, if not
Right.
thousands of shows that you've been to and been a part of?
Well, that's
right.
true. I mean, we all have our personal favorites as far as everyone's got their own personal
Yep.
taste. I, above all else, love being there and love being a part of it, but everyone's got your own personal taste when it comes to music.
Sure.
So some of my personal favorite things that have come through since I've been there. Wheeler Walker Jr., who's a country singer, Reverend Horton Heat, who's like this throwback rockabilly, old school rock
Yeah.
and roll guy. That's like right up my alley. A lot of the, more straightforward rock and roll, so to speak,
Yeah.
stuff that I love like that. You know, and this is a very difficult question. One that's coming up that hasn't happened yet that I'm really personally looking forward to is Michael Monroe.
Okay.
And he, in the late 70s and early 80s, was in, he's Finnish. He was in a band called Hanoi Rocks that,
Yep.
because of circumstances, didn't really make it huge, but ended up having a giant influence on all the 80s bands that came
Wow.
after them,
Okay.
which is, music that I love, like the 80s hair metal and hard rock and stuff. But
Yeah.
this is a band that was super influential. So I'm very excited to see him there. And he's made, guest appearances on Guns N' Roses records and
So you're
just done
saying
all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. So
It's
that's like really kind of my right up my
you're
alley.
you're
But
gonna be fangirling out.
well, I always try and keep it super even
try to play it
keel.
cool, right? A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always uh, try not to do that. But we've had um, just, and this is why this is probably the single most difficult question because
Sure.
we had Ugly Kid Joe there, which was a band that I loved since I was like 10 years old, but they hadn't toured in the United States in 27 years. So when they stopped touring the States, I was too young to have
Yeah.
even started going to concerts. So to like get to see that, or Ricky Ragman doing a spoken word show, because when I was a kid, I loved watching him on Headbangers Ball on MTV as the
Oh,
host,
yeah.
and just to hear his stories was so cool. Or so I love like all that straightforward rock, but I really love outlaw country. So
Yeah.
we had Shooter Jennings, who's Waylon Jennings' son. He's been to the shop multiple times, but one of the times he brought with him guys that had been in his dad's band,
Oh, wow.
and
Wow. Right there. Yeah.
the drummer who has since passed away because he was in his 80s, but Waylon's drummer Richie Albright, who's literally this guy started playing with Waylon Jennings, who was one of my all-time favorite artists. He started playing with him in 1964, and here we are, in the 2000s, and it's at the machine shop, and I'm getting to like talk to him, and
Wow.
Just
he's
the history right
just the
there of
history right
just like
there, and
of
and he was such a nice guy, and just telling me about,
Right.
when Waylon Jennings originally wrote the song "I've Always Been Crazy," he wrote it as a waltz, and then he's like clapping out the waltz beat. And he said, then we went in the studio and a bunch of stuff happened. And the next thing you know, it came out like it did on the record. Just to hear that, like right
Yeah.
from the horse's mouth,
just
so
to
to
hear
speak, is
that, it
just
just
for me as a huge music nerd
Oh,
is
yeah.
just
Well, and getting
a
that
super
chance to
exciting
soak it in,
part.
and that way you can share it too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
at some point when he's not here, he
absolutely.
needs
Yep.
more people to share
Yep.
stories
And
like
now
that too.
he's gone, and I can tell that
Yes.
story to people that want to hear it and care, and
Right.
so that's why that's probably the most difficult
Sure.
question for me, just because there's so much stuff that I love
Right.
so much. It is extremely hard to
Well, it's like when I
narrow
put
it
people
down.
on the spot and I'm like, "Who's your favorite child?"
Yeah,
Right.
right,
You know,
exactly.
that's not really a fair question, and it's
Right.
very, very similar in
Right.
circumstance there.
It's a tough one for sure because there's just so many options to
Right.
pick from and go through, and it's
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's move a little bit more into the local music scene.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about the bands that you currently are booking for, and then let's talk about those bands,
yeah,
and then
absolutely,
how you got involved with that. Was it based on your experience and what have you? I'll let you kind of set the scene for us.
absolutely. Well, couple of the bands that are here in the area that I'm currently handling their bookings, Iron Snake, and they are like the ultimate '80s hair metal hard rock
Yep.
Yes.
tribute band. They're known as they're the greatest band in the universe of all time ever, and uh
Best
I
tagline of
love
all
it.
time.
and
Yes.
and my girlfriend Maggie Meadows from our local rock station here, Banana 101.5, is actually the one that coined the phrase "Iron Snake Rules."
Yep.
And as you can see, I
Oh,
brought some
yes.
hats here today.
I
Iron
like
Snake
it.
Rules. That's another tagline for the band,
Yeah.
and that was actually coined by Maggie. Um, but they're awesome. If you like '80s metal and hard rock,
Yep.
they are for you because they put on a full show
Yeah.
with the costumes, the spandex, but also they have the other aspect, which is the most important aspect to me, the musicianship and how well they play.
They do.
They're all fantastic musicians, but they're doing AC/DC, Van Halen, Skid Row, Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Oh,
If that's the type of music you enjoy, you need to come out to an Iron Snake show. I don't know if we can talk about the summer
oh yeah.
already.
Absolutely, we can.
We definitely can.
Awesome. Okay. Well, June 7th,
Yes.
Festival of Flags.
Yeah.
Uh, Iron Snake at Lake Callis.
It is
Yep.
going to
Oh, it
be
is gonna be
well, and funny you bring that up. I
yes.
was talking with Andrea Schroeder, who is the city manager here in the city of Davison. She's like, "You guys are having Iron Snake?" I'm like,
Yes.
"Yes, we
Yeah.
are."
Oh, yeah, we
She's
are.
like, "Oh my god, I have got to make sure I'm there." I'm
Oh,
like,
See?
yeah.
"Please,
It
please
is.
come out. It's gonna be an absolute
Well,
riot."
and we have one of our good friends, Ben Callis,
Yep.
who he helps us organize a comedy show,
Yep.
but then he and his wife go to Machine Shop all the time.
Yeah.
But like we were talking to him and we mentioned we got Iron Snake. He goes, "All right, I'm gonna go and I'll let you know how they are." And it's like so he was excited and getting
Oh, yeah.
I've
so I
seen
think we're
so
gonna
many Iron Snake shows, and they're
it's
amazing.
I know.
Yep.
I'm
And they're doing that. And, all the bands I mentioned, plus like Judas Priest, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
So, if you like that '80s hard rock, '80s metal, but again, they're in full costume, and the singer, Cleo Medea, does multiple costume changes throughout
wow.
the
Oh,
show. But the
Awesome.
musicianship is there because they're all great players. And then Cleo, the singer, is just such a talented vocalist. He literally sounds like all of these guys when he's singing,
wow. It's yeah.
which is just such a
Yeah.
wide range of stuff he can do with his voice. Um, White Snake, Skid Row. I just so many bands that they cover. It's hard to keep
And
It's
and
amazing.
list them all. But
and we'll have more information coming out with Festival of Flags as we get
oh
closer.
Yeah.
yeah, keep
Um,
keep your
but
eyes
yeah, we're
peeled for
expecting it to
that.
be
But I'm
packed. I
sure.
mean, I think the
Oh,
Grand Pavilion can hold at least 300
yeah.
people. I would love to see that packed.
Oh, I
Oh,
know.
I'm
For
sure
I
Iron
don't think
Snake.
we'll have
absolutely
any
I
issues
don't
there.
No, not one
it'll
bit. I
it'll
think
be
it's
overflow for Iron Snake to
which is
be
gonna
there.
be amazing.
Yes.
So they are, the ultimate in '80s hard rock, hair metal
Yeah.
tributes. But then the other band, which is an offshoot of Iron Snake with some of the same guys, is Dr. DeLorean and the Space Invaders.
Yep.
And they are doing the '80s new wave top 40, very dance music
Yes.
oriented type
Okay.
stuff. But same thing, they're still in full costume. Still an incredible show. So you get not only great musicians, but they're entertaining you while they're playing. But again, the musicianship is just absolutely top notch. I know you mentioned Chris earlier from Dapper, not only a great barber, but an absolutely incredible
Yep.
guitar player
Yes.
and a great human being, one of my best friends. So he's playing guitar in Dr. DeLorean and the Space Invaders. So if you know Chris and his abilities, that alone makes it worthwhile. But the whole show is just unbelievable. But they're doing Duran Duran, Prince, Depeche Mode, and
I love
Well,
me some Prince.
stuff like that.
That's
oh,
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff.
it's well, and I will say I mean, Dr. DeLorean, Space Invaders was at Festival of Flags this past summer,
yes,
and I loved how they interacted with the crowd.
Right.
But even before the concert, they walked around the festival and were interacting with
yep.
Yep.
residents and getting
They're
pictures.
not
And
hiding in the back getting ready.
no,
They are like politicians out there
Right.
shaking
I love
hands
it.
with the electorate.
Yeah.
They want to meet people. They want to interact. They want to make it fun. But like I said, if you want to rock, Iron Snake is for you. If you want to dance, Dr. DeLorean and the Space Invaders are for you. Um, you know, I just got involved. Dusty, the leader of both of those bands, works with us at the machine shop, and he's been there even longer than I have, 15 plus years. And I pretty quickly bonded with the guys I work with, once I got there to the shop full time. And, just one thing led to another. So, like, I just, between talking with him and Kevin and stuff, it
Sure.
just kind of was like, well, I'd like to handle this for you guys because it's a good experience for me. It's another aspect of the business I wanted to learn and am
right,
continuing to learn. And to me,
It's right in your wheelhouse.
it
right,
really is. And
to me, I mean, it's a continual process. I am never the type of person where I think, okay, well, now I learned it all and now I know it all, and that's
Right.
that's
that's it,
that.
right?
To me, it's like a nonstop
Constantly
learning
learning
process, but
and
you're always
just
trying to grow, always trying to
yeah.
learn. So just to be able to, learn, that aspect of the business and handle that, and you know, um,
Well, I will
have it as
say,
like kind of my de facto side hustle, as the kids call it
Sure.
these days.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, but just to be involved in that, and also I will say this first and foremost for me personally, I'm about the music first and foremost. So to be able to work with these bands that I love, that are full of people that I love, that are great people and great musicians that I believe in, if I can do any little small thing to help them
Right.
with
get out
their
there.
their stuff, that's very satisfying and rewarding to me personally.
Well,
Absolutely.
I will say when we started talking with you last year for Dr. DeLorean, you made the process so nice and easy. I
Right.
mean, for us being newer to chamber to try to find, I guess, bigger bands that
Yeah,
had a good following, great music for our community,
right.
Right.
you made it nice and easy. Our questions,
Hmm.
getting them scheduled, working out all the details, and it was. I would say, and then Iron Snake made it even easier this year,
Yeah,
just because we had that relationship already.
right. And I just like to make everything as enjoyable and smooth for
Yes.
everybody as possible. It's like when we talked about earlier at the shop, we want all the customers to have a wonderful, great time and a great experience, but we want the same thing for the band and the crew during the day when we're setting up for their show.
Right.
When I'm booking either Iron Snake or Dr. DeLorean, same thing. I want it to go great for the band and be smooth for them. And even though I work for them directly, I still want whoever is booking them for their event to
Right.
have it go as well on their end as humanly possible too, and be as smooth for them. I am all about like win-win. I just want to try and make everything
100%.
Oh yeah.
as much of a win-win as possible for everybody, because to me, I'm all about like relationship building. So
Absolutely.
I'd
Yes.
rather, if I would have burned you last year, you wouldn't have circled back and worked with me again this year
Right.
Right.
for the
No.
upcoming
No.
Festival of Flags. If I would have made it a total pain or a nightmare, or
Right.
demanded too much money out of your budget or any such thing, I mean, that's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth and you're not going to come back to me
Right.
next year. But I'd rather build a relationship
Yeah.
and make it as mutually beneficial as possible for everybody, is
Right.
my mindset, you know.
Well,
No,
we
that
loved it,
that
and it.
that's absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, and it harkens back to what we were talking about with your work, the machine shop. You
um,
you guys care.
Absolutely.
It's not. This isn't just a money grab. This isn't just us trying to go out
Just
and
to
just be performative. You want to interact. You want to
do.
engage, and you want the community to support you, which I
Right.
think is
This is
Absolutely.
fantastic.
great.
Absolutely. And that's what has built up that fan base, and this is all
And the fan base is rabid,
built into the
It
and I
machine
love
seems
that.
shop.
like it really does, yes.
And that's the funny thing because I feel like a lot of places you could go, it'd be like on a per band basis. Like I like this band, so I'm going to go. But there's people that come to the machine shop all the time just because it's the machine shop and it has that built-in fan base. And you'll see it with bands that come through,
Mhm.
and everyone's career ebbs and flows. But some bands might be at a point where they're not necessarily doing that great everywhere in the country, but they'll sell out the machine shop because that
Right.
built-in fan base here at the machine shop, and it all starts with Kevin, and that's really my mindset. He's been the number one mentor I've ever had personally in my life, and it's that mindset of trying to make things as mutually beneficial for everyone as
Yeah.
possible, and trying to make everyone as satisfied as possible.
Right. Right. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So now here's an interesting question. I think Johnny probably really interested in this one too.
Oh, I'm
I
interested
think
in
so.
all of this.
All
This
of
is
them, right? It
this is
is.
one of my favorite
So
interviews so far.
oh my goodness. It's so looking towards the future, what trends do you see emerging in live music, and how has the machine shop adapting to stay ahead of those changes and get new groups to come in and get the followings and
Mhm.
everything that continue from that long history?
Well, I think one of the number one challenges that I'm observing is the prices of everything going up. And I will
Yeah.
say our owner, Kevin, is committed to keeping everything as affordable as humanly possible for the customers.
Right.
And, whether it's the concert tickets or the drink prices. And, I have talked to several people that are coming into the venue for the first time because it's not just Flint and Genesee County and the
Right.
surrounding
You're
areas.
drawing in
People
from
that are coming, I
everywhere.
mean, you'll see
Sure.
Ohio, Wisconsin, Canada all the time,
Yeah.
Ontario. Um, but we get people, I've seen IDs from Hawaii, Texas. I mean, literally
Wow.
everywhere, New York
Wow.
State.
That's
I
amazing.
mean, it's literally all over, and people will say the same thing. And not to get too off track of the actual question, but people a that are customers coming to the shows will say, "Well, this is a bucket list venue for me. I wanted to always see a show here." So
Yeah.
they'll travel from all over. I mean, we get international passports from all kinds of countries, people coming to watch shows just because
Yeah.
they want to
Okay.
see a show at the machine
Yes.
shop. Um and same thing with bands and crews that are coming through the first time. They're like, "This is a bucket list venue for me. I've
Right.
always wanted to do a show here." And like I said, they're making a beeline to the merchandise to grab their machine shop gear so they can show it off,
Yeah.
and be like, "I've been to the machine shop."
Yeah.
So, because of that commitment to keep costs low, and it's like anything else in the world, costs keep going up with everything.
Yep.
But he's very committed, so you'll always see, for a concert a very reasonable ticket price. And even sometimes that are on the higher end for us,
Mhm.
they're still so much cheaper than if you go to a big arena or a
Yeah.
big amphitheater
Right.
or someplace else. But that's a sign of how affordable it is there, is the fact that we'll get once in a blue moon one of those that is really on the higher end for us, but still in the grand scheme of things, very
Sure.
affordable.
Portable
But
for
people will be like, "Well, I can't believe how much this ticket." That's like, I can't believe how much this ticket costs.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but in the grand scheme of
look at it in
concert
the big
venues,
picture,
you have
yes.
to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
And there's not the exorbitant fees when you buy online through our online ticket seller.
Right.
And, if you buy them in person, there's no fees. And
It's
it's
also
keeping
such
that cost
it's such an intimate venue
right.
that
To see a band
there you go.
in
Yeah.
a place like this, like at the beginning of January, we had Lizzie and Joe from Hailstorm,
Yep.
Okay.
doing their
Yeah.
acoustic tour together. And they specifically said, "We want to be at the machine shop. We want to kick this tour off at the machine shop because we're having a chance to do the smaller, intimate venues that we're now, frankly, too big to do by and large. We have to play
Right.
big, bands get bigger, they play bigger venues. That's
Right.
just how it works. So, bands will, and that's what we always want to see at the machine, bands like outgrowing the machine shop because they get
Sure.
their start there. And they never forget how they were taken care of, whether it's Hailstorm or Shinedown or Seether or
Right.
whoever the case may be that have been through over the years and just grown and grown and grown and gotten huge. And now they're playing arenas and theaters and
Right.
amphitheaters and,
Yeah.
but it's because of that relationship building that, now they're going to do a stripped down acoustic tour. Well, we want to go to the machine shop and do it
Awesome.
there
That's amazing.
because
It really is.
we remember when we were starting out how we were treated
Mhm.
there, and it doesn't matter where you're at in your career,
Yeah.
you're going to get treated the same at the machine shop, whether this is your first time there or you've been there 40 times.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many records you've sold. If you're cool as a person and nice
Right.
as a person, we are going to 1000% reciprocate that to you. And we're going to have a great time, make your day
Right.
great. And it doesn't matter if you've never been there before or have been there a million times, if this is your first tour ever, or if you've been touring for years and years and years.
Right.
That's irrelevant to us.
Right.
We're going to be cool to you. If you're cool to us, we're going to have an
I'm gonna do it.
awesome, great time.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll.
I like it.
And that's
yeah.
that's what we like. So again, I know I'm really bouncing around here, but yeah, keeping the cost affordable, because I've had a lot of people coming in, like I said, for the first time saying, "Hey, how are the drink prices here?" And I always promise them it is the cheapest drink prices you're going to find at any concert venue.
Far and away.
Once in a while, you'll hear an old guy say, "Well, I paid $2 for a Schlitz at the VFW." It's like, okay,
Well, okay.
this isn't the VFW hall though either. And that's
yeah,
like a
I
different
get
thing. You
it,
can't
though.
compare it because we're
No.
a concert venue with a full bar. It's not like just a bar with music. Is kind of my
Right.
thought on it. So I tell people, if you go to one of the big places, I promise you're paying at least twice as much for each individual drink
You're
that you're gonna
paying
pay here.
Well, for your
Plus, you got to
ticket
pay
and
for
for
parking.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
gas to
everything.
get there out of town. If you're, from, I mean, obviously we have a lot of people coming in from out of town, but you don't pay for. Oh gosh, sorry, I just knocked the heck out of this windscreen.
That's fine.
That's how excited I get when I'm
That's
talking about
right.
the
I like
machine
it.
shop.
We love the
talking about
passion.
The way it is, the passion's great.
But you don't pay for parking at the machine shop. The tickets are kept as affordable as humanly possible on an individual show basis. The drink prices are the lowest you're going to find. So I think that's what I would foresee as a challenge is doing everything possible to keep it like that, because our owner Kevin really has a major commitment to doing everything within in his power to keep it like that for people, because it's
Well, and I think the fact too that Kevin's out there interacting,
right,
helping out, but also interacting with all the people coming in for a concert. So he's
talking to the
hearing
crowd
it
and
from them too. It's
yeah,
not just
absolutely. He's A, helping us during the day, but then B, at night during the show, he's out there talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
And, so he's interacting with the customers and hearing that direct feedback. And, he's always very cognizant and mindful of that, I would say, to where he wants to hear what people are thinking. And, it's a good thing that people care as much as they do, and they're as excited about the machine shop as they are, and they do want to keep coming back over and over and over again. So, I think that's just one of the many great things on his part.
Sure.
The fact that he does listen to people, because we always want to be a place where people want to
Well, and I think
come
that
back
means the
multiple
history
times.
of it's just going to keep
Yeah.
going. I mean,
Yeah.
23 years.
Mhm.
I mean, the future's bright. I mean, if that's the main focus. Is
Right.
just let people enjoy the atmosphere, the music, get in there and
Absolutely.
just enjoy themselves. I
And-
feel like, I mean, that's going
Yeah.
to be going on for years.
Yeah,
for
and
you
I think
guys, too,
that's
which is
a big part of it. Like we talked about it at the very beginning, that authenticity and the being genuine. So it's like we know who we are, we know what we do. Um, I think just keeping doing that, and staying the course, and being true to ourselves, as an entity,
yeah.
is just what is going to keep that fan base and the built-in crowd coming back over and over again.
So as we finish up today's podcast, and this has been absolutely amazing,
it has.
absolutely
It's-
amazing. What I guess I want to make more so of a comment than anything, and we'll let you respond to that as you see fit. For me, Flint has gotten such a bad rap nationally, sometimes even internationally,
Mm-hmm.
but I look at it from the perspective that if you look for the good, you can find the
You really
good.
find it.
And there are so many great things about Flint, about Genesee County, the people that are here, you know, sure, you can crap on Flint about the water crisis or the way the government's operated with certain aspects of things. But at the end of the day, I love living in Genesee County. I love having things like the
We've
machine shop,
we've created there's an atmosphere that's been created
Yes.
for, I think, everybody to find something they enjoy.
Yes.
Music, sports, everything like that, which
100%.
is I completely agree with you on that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And because of getting bands and crews coming in from all over, and same thing with our customers, like I
Mhm.
said, they're coming in from all over the country and oftentimes internationally and stuff. So we have heard multiple questions and comments about the
Sure.
water. Even still now,
Sure.
we're still
Yeah.
getting that, from people that are coming from different areas. So that's a big thing that we've heard. And also, I will say, because of the people traveling for shows all over
Sure.
the area or from all over various different areas, different parts of the country, I will field a lot of phone calls during the day when we're in there from people that are coming to a show later on down the line. They got tickets, but they're coming from wherever and they've never been to Flint before, so they want to know where to stay.
Oh yeah.
And so we're kind of giving them suggestions
Sure.
on that. But sometimes where do I stay will be followed up with, is Flint safe?
Mhm.
And I will always kind of have my blanket response of, you are extremely safe when you are here at the machine shop, and when you are on our property, you're extremely safe. And it's, to me, like any city. I mean, you can
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
find
Exactly. Yep.
trouble if you're looking for it, or go
Yes.
to a spot that's not, as great as others. But, I will, so I do feel that question, once in a while from people, because of the reputation.
It's
It's
the
more so
reputation.
like you're
Yep.
saying. So I will tell people, you're super safe when you're here at the machine shop, and if you're on our property, you're super duper safe.
Right.
And Flint's got a lot of great stuff to offer. And again, I understand the reputation,
Yep.
but we field questions about that and the water, and so
Sure.
I get it totally. But
Well,
we
and
want to be a
But
bright
you
we're gonna
spot
say,
for Flint
you
and
look at
Genesee
the
County.
you look at the news and, it's always nice to hear positive
it
stories,
is.
but very rarely do you hear the positive stories. They are always, not always, but most of the time they're showcasing the negative. And that's not the case. If you look
No.
for the good, you can absolutely find it. And I feel that the work that you and Kevin and the team over at the machine shop
Yes.
do, that is a bright
It's
spot
a
and that is
draw
something.
for people from everywhere.
Yeah, we absolutely need to be proud of that and showcase it. And that's why we wanted to have you on today, without a
Exactly.
doubt.
Well, I appreciate it. And yeah, we definitely want to be a bright spot for the city of Flint and for Genesee County. And, we want to be a positive, and we
Yes.
want people to enjoy themselves and have fun. And that's to me, one of the big things about music, and especially going to a live concert, is,
Yeah.
it's an escape. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on in the world at large,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
nonstop nowadays. And also, everyone in your own individual lives,
Yeah.
you have your own set of issues, your own problems you're dealing with, anything you may be individually facing. But, if you
Yep.
come to the machine shop, we want you to have a good time. So we want to be that escape for a
Yeah.
few hours. We want it to be your night out. We kind of talk about it working there, like our job is like
Right.
other people's going out for their night of fun and escape is our job, and we love it. And again, job is not even the word to me that accurately describes it,
Sure.
but for lack of a better way of putting it, like, our job is other people's good time and night out. And like
Yeah.
I said, we have our built-in fan base, but there's also oftentimes, by and large nowadays, people maybe not are going out that much or
Sure.
that often. So, uh, mom and dad bought tickets for this concert, and they
Right.
have a babysitter for the night and a hotel and this is their one night out for who knows
For how
how
long? Yeah.
long, because of
It's
however many kids they have or however young those kids are.
Yep.
So we want them,
yeah.
if this is their one night out, to meet
Enjoy
mom
it
and
and
dad and
have
date night and enjoy themselves,
yeah.
Right.
kid free. Then, that's really, we want to make that a great, great night for them.
We want
We want to be that
We do.
escape
You
from
want it to
I
be a
love it.
real
banger.
life.
Make it a banger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, we
There
want
you
to be
go.
that escape from whatever's going on in your day-to-day life, when you're inside our place, it's about having a good time and the community experience and the listening to the music that you love,
Oh, without a doubt. Well, this has been such a self-indulgent podcast. I absolutely love talking with
I've
you,
learned
Nick.
so much since I've never been there before.
Well, you got to come.
Now it's getting me excited about this.
Yeah.
So you and I need to figure out a concert we can go to.
No problem. You absolutely don't have to twist my arm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we do have some giveaways.
We do.
Yes.
Nick, you brought some of these hats.
And I brought the trucker hats because I didn't want to get into the who knows what size shirt your winner's going to wear.
Yes.
I got a lot of t-shirts, but I was like, let me just bring the hats because that's safe. Everybody
wears hats. Yes.
So I got a couple of Iron Snake Rules hats and a spot on the guest list for you and a guest for the 1980s prom with Dr. DeLorean at the Machine Shop.
Oh, I like this.
That's Friday, March 14th. It's our annual 80s prom.
Okay.
I will tell you, 80s prom, I would say the vast majority of people dress up in their 80s prom attire. Now, it's certainly not a requirement because, like I said before, we welcome everybody at the Machine Shop.
Yeah.
But most people do, and it is super fun. And I will say, if you do dress up, we do crown a king and queen at every 80s prom.
Oh, even better.
I got goosebumps right there.
I kind of wish we could win these.
Yeah.
Right? No.
Both the king and queen actually end up with a great prize pack once they're crowned too. So you're getting gift cards from area local Genesee County businesses, restaurant gift cards that donate.
This is exciting.
You're going to get
like this
ticket package for more upcoming Machine Shop shows where you get pairs of tickets to upcoming shows. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like if you like the 80s and you like to dance, like I was saying earlier, Dr. DeLorean and the Space Invaders are the band for you, but the 80s prom, it just adds that extra element, that extra layer of fun because everyone's dressed up, even the staff. And again, it's not a requirement. If you want to be stick in the mud and just come in your street clothes, that's fine too. We are fine with that too. Right. But I mean, you're not gonna feel silly or out of place if you're dressed up in 80s prom attire because again, it is the vast majority of people. It's the same thing with our Halloween show every year with Iron Snake, the annual Booze Bash. It's same thing, people are encouraged to dress up, but you don't have to. We're not going to judge you if you're in your street clothes if you don't want to dress up, but I promise you won't feel silly or out of place if you are dressed up. So that again, I got a spot on the guest list for a couple people at the 80s prom. Again, that's Friday, March 14th with Dr. DeLorean and the Space Invaders. So
that's going to be a
dress
great
up,
show.
dance. You could be crowned prom king or prom queen, win some extra prizes there.
I definitely want to be crowned prom queen.
Well,
I'll find myself a nice dress to wear.
You're a pretty good looking guy, right?
We've had we've had guys come and dress as obviously Genesee County business institution Tadrick's Tax Service. Everyone's familiar with Bill Tadrick, a good friend of ours who's now retired and moved out of state, but he's a great friend of ours. He's come in full dress, prom gown, with a wig.
Can absolutely see Bill doing
that. So what I'm saying. So it's like
just the atmosphere of all of this together.
Everything's welcome. I mean, if you want to wear a dress, if you want to wear a tux, you want to whatever. We love everybody. We welcome everybody.
Yeah,
just be cool and have fun and be nice to everybody, and that's what we want. We don't care
what a great way to finish it off. Just be nice to everybody.
Be nice to everybody.
That's a good way to live your life, I think.
I like it, Nick.
I do too. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today.
This has been
an absolute blast.
This has been great.
100%. I cannot wait. So we're gonna have to pull up the concert schedule.
We will.
We'll take a look at something and we'll get to it without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not a Machine Shop virgin. I've been there plenty of times, so I'm looking forward to taking you over there and we'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Yep,
I like
a good time. So
there's something for everybody. So I promise you'll find something.
We'll find something.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Nick, thank you so much. Travis, thank you for setting this up. This one was very self-indulgent, so I appreciate
was excited for you when we get the schedule. I was like, Johnny's going to be all about this.
This
super fun.
This is fantastic.
Well, good.
I am Johnny B. Good with Community Collective Podcast, joined by my man
Travis Howell.
Travis, it was a pleasure. Nick, we will see you soon, my friend.
Guys.
Thanks a lot. We will see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Yeah.